Bronx. Excuse me, in Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Let me explain something to y'all. Y'all know, right? Every time I do addresses and shit with all these dispensaries, I'm all over the fucking place. I literally told the new Convo down there. I'm like, I kept saying LES, and they're in Yankee Stadium as well in Third Avenue. Yeah, but I want to introduce you all. First off, I want to say welcome to the OG Social Network podcast. We are here with Vladimir Bautista and Ramon Reyes. The OG Social Network podcast is sponsored by Produce 420, New York City Cannabis Exchange, Myers Security, Green Spectrum, and our new sponsor, Gordy's Goodies. Thank you so much, Gordy. We appreciate you all. To start off with Vladimir. Vladimir has this huge freaking bio, which is amazing, but you really got to read it, right? Because he was born in Sugar Hill in Harlem. My mom was raised there, by the way. Vladimir Bautista is a proud Latino entrepreneur and advocate whose family hails from the Dominican Republic. He is a formidable leader in the cannabis space, co-founder and managing member of Happy Munkey, LLC, an internationally known New York City lifestyle company that is synonymous with cannabis culture. Under Vlad's leadership, Happy Munkey has expanded from an influential cannabis community to a pioneering business, opening 2 legal licensed adult retail dispensaries in New York City. Of course, one here at 151 Dyckman Street, and the other at 453 Fulton Street in Brooklyn. Vlad is widely recognized for his deep relationship with international cannabis elite and his successful experience in music, you gotta tell me about that, hospitality, and event productions. He provides corporate cannabis access to the authentic New York City cannabis scene, bridging the gap between legacy culture and legal industry. Happy Munkey hosts popular VIP events that connect politicians, chefs, doctors, influencers, athletes, and creative artists based on mutual love of the plant. Vladimir is partnered with Ramon, co-host of popular Happy Munkey podcast on Boulevard podcast, bringing the Happy Munkey experience to the masses. The podcast features an eclectic mix of guests from rap stars to CEOs and to the founder of the Canadian Securities Exchange. I want to get him on, and is available on all major podcast platforms. As a sought-after public speaker at national cannabis conferences and business events, Vladimir continues to advocate for the industry and opportunity in an evolving cannabis industry. He can be reached for events and speaking engagements at vladhappymunkey.com. Now, let's talk about Ramon real quick, right? Ramon's is amazing. I like Ramon's.
I don't know who did this for me.
No, it's amazing. It's like and it made me feel so good. Okay, Ramon Reyes, founder, co-founder, event producer, 2 times Clio winner, legal license dispensary owner twice, podcast personality. Happy Munkey stores open at 151 Dyckman Street, 453 Fulton Street, and about Ramon, teaching the industry how it's done. That's it. So you can tell which one gets to the point and which one, yo, you need to know what's up. I want to tell you, all of you, like when you look at these guys, right, they are an amazing group of people. As all of you know, I've preached about how it's important that our people are totally at this table in the cannabis industry. How are you doing, Vlad? Ramon, what's going on?
Good, man. Can't complain. Man.
Yeah.
We here every day working. Can't complain.
Yeah. How about you?
We're here living the dream, you know? After all the amazing things you mentioned, now me and Ramon get to do what we actually set out to do all these years ago. This company's actually selling legal weed in the last 6-7 months that we actually started doing that.
Yeah.
We've been curating all the parts of the lifestyle, and now we get to do that amongst all the other things we're doing in a way that empowers our community where it all started for us.
Well, I know you were featured on Cannabis Now. This is the winter edition, Monkey Business. As you can see here, great photograph with your partners, Omar and John Ibone.
Yes.
Ibone? Yeah. Where are they from? They sound like they're from
They're Cuban,
They're Cuban,
and they're born and raised in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Oh my God! They look like they Muslim and from Morocco. I love it. Monet. I love it. I love to meet them. And tell me, how did you all meet? How'd you all connect?
The plants connected us all. You know, I've been friends with them for over 20 years. You know, they've always been like mentors and OGs. You know, to me and to us, and you know, in the legacy side, and as when we started doing this thing together, we started doing these events on 38th Street together, they were, you know, the people that really gave us the space to start doing that, and we all started doing it together back then, you know, because we were all looking to cross over legacy, and it just all made sense, and they're a major part of like everything we have going on, because, you know, 4 heads are better than 2.
Oh, definitely. As a leader of my company, I never realized how important it is to have a team. You can't do this by yourself. There's no way you can do any business by yourself unless you're owning things. But other than that, I mean, I've seen young men and women that are coming into the forefront as leaders in the cannabis industry, and you all are just taking it to a whole new level on how to work with your labor, relationships with community. We were talking about earlier about, you know, I told you this year we're focusing on fair banking laws for the cannabis community. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Since application and grant opening, you start first.
Yes.
Just real quick, application and grant opening. How has that transition been?
It's been really a learning curve, right? Because even though we've been in the industry for all these years, this has been a whole new experience, retail cannabis, understanding all the compliance, understanding the way inventory works, and, you know, checking all the boxes and putting all the people in the right positions, and, you know, knowing how many people you need and how to market it. It's been definitely a building a rocket while you fly it kind of process.
Right. How about you?
All right, I guess I'll give you a little bit of context, right? So application, we were as swift as we can be turning it in. But Vlad was literally the last person to receive the okay, the approval from the OCM. Like, he was like the last person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll just start with that.
Right.
I finally got my license. I got my license a little bit right before Vlad did. I got it before he got it after me. I got it last year at 2024. February 2024, we were able to open Brooklyn in November 2024. In the meantime, in between that time, was probably one of the most difficult transitions we've had to go through.
Most owners in the cannabis industry have gone through that because they're trying to stay within guidelines, within regulations, but sometimes OCM is changing up every 5 minutes, and you don't know what's going on. How do you feel about the current leadership of OCM since they've changed, since Chris has left?
I don't know if there exactly is a leadership. It seems like it's just temporary leadership.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken. I don't
Yeah.
think there's an official ED yet.
Right.
But you know, it's definitely felt since Chris left, like you know, you don't have the same level of engagement that you used to in the past. But I know that it's an evolving thing, and you know, he was the founder and the creator of it amongst other people, and I know that, you know, it's hard for people to fill those shoes and really narrow it down for the biggest market in the world. But to be honest, you know, on the flip side of that, we were just talking to a friend of ours from California who was just here earlier.
Yeah.
And he was telling us the nightmare that's happening over there.
There we go.
And shout out to Rico and me. And it's like how they are already struggling to stay above water because they're overtaxed by ridiculous amounts.
Yeah.
And now the governor over there, just added more tax to them. So, not perfect here, but from all my research that I know is happening throughout the states, it's a lot better than everywhere else.
And what about your opinion on
OCM? So I usually don't give a lot of opinion when it comes to like OCM and political views or any of the above, right? My approach on what the OCM has done here in New York is I applaud that. I tell you, I'm gonna tell you why, right? First of all, I like to always give people context to the fact that weed has been around forever. Legal industry is like 3 years old. 4 years old at this
we're
point?
4 years now.
We're 4 years at this point. We're still talking about a child, a baby. Not even a child, right? Not even a full-grown child. It's a 4-year-old, it's a toddler. They're just learning how to talk. They're just learning how to walk. They're just learning how to communicate. This child is not fully grown yet. So you don't know what route that child is gonna go, right? So I think people were expecting, because we're New York, and I get it, we're expecting a perfect version of an OCM, right? That we were expecting top notch, everything's supposed to be flowing, and everybody wants what they want. This group needs this social group wants this, and this. I think just like the legal industry is only 4 years old, the group in the OCM, they just got together 4 years ago, right? How are they supposed to have everything? This is just realistic in life. How is like a group of people that just got together, they just started working together. These are not lifelong friends like me, Vlad, and our boys. Like, we know what we want to do, right? This is OCM that just got together 4 years ago. The state just put together 4 years ago, and I think people expected perfection.
Right.
That's why I think for us we stood positive, because we didn't expect perfection from something that was just born.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Also, I'm a New Yorker, biased like a motherfucker. I think we started off better than every other state. If any other state has can prove me wrong, then please do. You know what I'm saying? But
I think we started off real good.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, for what other states have gone through.
100%.
I believe we are learning from their mistakes and expanding on policy and regulation better.
Yeah.
Or at least with more caution.
Yeah.
Right?
Can I say they're perfect? No. There's a bunch of things that I think could have been better, right? I'll give you one example of that. I think the situation of having I guess criminals, right? People who were arrested by the war on drugs, right? Most of us, and frankly speaking, you know, you were locked up in the war on drugs. You didn't run a business afterwards. You ran a street business.
Yeah.
You know, you kept on moving. You know, you moved around, that sort of things. But not too many people actually ran a business, a legit business for 2 years after being arrested a bunch of times.
Right.
Right. So that's one. Right. So I just want to give you that context a little bit as far as you know, the hurdles that one had to kind of face here. But those are things that you know. Again, compared to other states, we doing better than everybody else. That's all.
How's the community accepted you?
The community has been really welcoming because, you know, they know that we chose to be here. We didn't have to be here. And, you know, even like 6 months before we opened, me and Raymond going to every community board event, going to different cannabis task force events, and, you know, just really engaging with the community in a deep way, going to all the different organizations, the Washington Chamber of Commerce, shout out to them. We just, for the first time in history, hosted them here, where they usually have quarterly meetings in bars, restaurants, and nightclubs. First time they did it in the country, so it's been going really well. We've also, I did 2 presentations at the local senior center, educating people on
We saw that. Yes, that's supposed to be.
So it's just like, you know, it's going really good because we are here with the right intentions. They know, obviously, we're just not here to only make money. We're here to educate, inform, and inspire the community by being an example of what's possible. You know, this community was kind of forgotten during the whole transition in the last 4 years, and now we get to bring them not cannabis. Like I said, they've had cannabis for 80 years, but all the benefits benefits that actually can help them heal from the trauma that the war on drugs did to them. That's the last time they saw cannabis.
That's right. Yeah, and I'm finding that we're going more towards a health and wellness, and I really appreciate that. I was approached by a New York Post reporter that wants to interview me about 6 people that are 50 and over, 60 and over that are in cannabis, and I'm like, shit, we like little kids. This shit is like it's legal now. We can walk around, you know, because back when we would have to be very careful walking around and smoking weed in public. Didn't do it at all. And this is like a whole new, different thing. I guess it was like when Prohibition finally fell and everybody started drinking again and all that. What is your take about the youth, though? Do you think they'll be a lot more responsible than, say, when I was youthful and we were drinking? You know what I mean?
This is how I see it, right? We've got a podcast as well, right? We've interviewed over 100 people, right? I would say 90% of everyone we've interviewed started smoking weed when they were anywhere between 9 years old to 15 years old. Right. Most of them.
Right.
Me and him started when we was young. When I was a kid when I started.
I was 13.
You understand what I'm saying? I was 13. So I think that part doesn't change no matter what generation. That youth being curious with things, that's never going to change. Your first time trying something is going to be pre-teens or teens. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a cigarette, whether it's a drink, whether it's weed.
It was all that. For me, it was all that.
But I think that is never going to change. I think if anything, the kids are way much more informed now than when we were. You can literally Google something now, right? You can inform yourself and look at what you're gonna take, what you're gonna smoke. So I think now, I don't think there's much of a difference. I just think that the difference is that you can really inform yourself now.
How about you?
I believe that, it's still gonna happen like Ramon says, but we don't promote it. We know that studies say that, for people under 18, under 21, it's not as good for their mental development.
Yeah, we're still developing our brains up until 26.
Yeah,
exactly.
I did not know that, so I've been totally an airhead since 13.
But on the flip side of that, I remember one time I was having an argument out here with a religious person that was, when we first opened, said, that's the devil's lettuce. It's the worst thing that opened around here. Yada yada, that whole propaganda that that nasty Reaganism that he still had. And we went back and forth. I said, well, I'm happy you tell me that, but do you know that this is no benefits? Do you know this? He's like, nah, that's from the devil. That's the worst thing around here. And then after we kept on going back and forth for a while, he hit me with one. He said, do you have children? I said, yeah, I have a daughter. He said, would you want your daughter doing that? I said, you know what, sir? I would like her to wait till she's the right age, but before she became a constant drinker of alcohol, I would 1,000% support her to consume cannabis. And he had to pause and think about that because of the level of conviction that I have with my statement. I think that those exchanges are necessary because I think that sometimes we're talking in our insider perspective, they have this propaganda because they've been hit with propaganda for 80 years. So I think those conversations are necessary and people need to understand how things are changing and now how the information that we have now helps inform these decisions and help us look at things differently.
I know the stigmatism about cannabis use, it's waning. There are a lot of people that I'm talking to that are looking for alternative medicines without having to deal with big pharma. I introduced them to excellent CBD and THC products that are processed beautifully. When I have those conversations, I always throw the alcohol and compare the difference between the health benefits between alcohol consumption and marijuana consumption. And when I show them the numbers, especially when it comes to DUIs and DWIs, they're blown. And then, does anyone here know that died of marijuana? driving under the influence or something like that, but no one is.
But alcohol, on the other hand, many.
Yeah. Oh God, hundreds of thousands, almost every family is affected by alcoholism. Almost every family is affected by alcoholism. Let's talk about your store real quick, because the time is of the essence. I find that many stores some are MSLRO, no. They're some are, open to, some really want to focus on small business. What is your philosophy, or what is your corporate ideology about bringing in brands into your stores, and whether they're a part of the community or not? I'll let you answer that.
Me, in my opinion, the way that me and Ramon has always rocked when it comes to not just products, but in general when it comes to the industry, our events, community, etc. We've always been the bridge between corporate culture and everything else. We know who we are. We represent the culture. We know the impact we're having. We want to make sure that people have access to as many products as possible, no matter who owns them. And we believe that we let the consumers make the choice, but we are at the helm of looking for quality and with the right intentions, but we've never been into alienating or not allowing anybody to participate in the market.
Because I see that.
Yeah, we're not playing that game. We're business at the end of the day too, right? Because I think people don't understand that for the last 5-6 years we played culture. We did a bunch of events. I think people don't understand a lot of events are not the most profitable things to do.
No,
so we did a bunch of culture stuff, right? We were waiting to get to the business part. This is the business part now. You know what I mean? And I think people get caught up in when keeping it real goes wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not into that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is a business. We got families to maintain. We got people who depend on us now. So we play business. You know what I'm saying? And just like the speakeasy and just like our model in culture, we're not alienating anybody.
Right.
And that's not just good for business.
I think because of your event, side of it, you're able to reach a lot more people than the average bear, the average dispensary that doesn't have that extra arm, that extra marketing arm. A lot of the dispensaries are struggling with marketing and public relations because they're being hit so hard. My sponsor, New York City Cannabis Exchange, we did 2 commercials for them. Saved them like 90% of cost because everybody thinks that y'all are making money,
right? And
you're not really there yet. You just started,
and then
you won't even see a profit for a couple of years, right?
There's a deeper conversation there, right? OG, the deeper conversation is that at the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier, I had a conversation with a gentleman about the perspective. It's the same thing with the industry. We need to have dialogue. We all need to be in tune because right now we think that we have these internal enemies or whatever, but the truth is 5 years from now, when this goes federally legal, or 10 years from now, we will see who the true enemies are when big pharma comes and big tobacco comes. and then we will be, some people will look back and say, damn, I wish I would have played with the people that were part of my era and time in this evolution of cannabis to make the most of it, because if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together.
There you go. Yeah, I do love that. I think, like I said, you need a team, you need community, you need the right people around you that share your ideology. What is your current take on the political situation right now?
Which one?
Well, let's go local first. Let's go local. I mean, we appear to be safe. We're in our own little bubble for now, I guess, because we're 100% legal. We're developing a market. We did 1.25 billion, which is like, what the fuck? And people are now seeing that we're going to double that for 2025 and 2026.
Agreed.
So how do you feel the city the state?
I think the city and the state loves weed. I think there's going to be more situations and more opportunities arising, right? Like for me personally, I can't wait for consumption to start actually happening.
Oh,
right?
shit. Oh, shit.
That's what I think. I can't wait. I can't wait for actual.
What type of parties is gonna be like? That's gonna be amazing.
Come on, man. I'm gonna I got ideas for days, and I got things that I've been holding in
Yeah,
the
we do
chamber,
too.
right? So it's like, come on, we're ready for events, and we're ready for like things like that, because that's what we've been doing, right? We've been waiting to get this culture moving. Like that's it. Like it's legal. We're all part of the beginning of what this legal stage is looking like, and I can't wait to continue to kind of like be, we're the guinea pigs right now.
Yeah, that's how. But we good guinea pigs.
Yeah,
it's like we getting the good food. We're getting the good drugs. We were the mice that got the good cocaine in the 1970s. I'm loving it. Yeah.
And I love that we can continue to just do new things, and it has so much of an effect, and then we just naturally being us, to be honest, man. I think people go too hard into like being methodical about things. Like honestly, like Vlad and I, and I say Vlad more because he's on more platforms than I am. He doesn't try to be on these platforms. He doesn't call these platforms.
Don't you like it when business comes to you as a boat and it seems to happen naturally, whereas you got to go to business?
Yeah, man.
It's like it just
and it's just, I think people take it, like you said earlier, it's hard for those brands to get up and running, but we've been up and running for 7 years, right? Vlad has been taking the chance, because especially at the time when we had a speakeasy, he took the chance to put himself out there and start speaking about us, right? And then, the same thing with me.
I've heard of you for like 5 years. I really, because when we became legal, and I think I again remind myself like 2 years ago, I'm like looking at you, I'm like, what are your parties? Well, I know these people. And at first I thought, out in California, and I was like, I know I've been to this guy's party, I know this guy, and nobody has his head, or you know what I mean? It was a distinct, your brand. That's what it was. Your brand was distinct. And I'm like, I've been there. I know these people, but I kept getting you confused with some organization out in fucking California. So knowing that your brand has been alive this long, you've already surpassed the 5-year mark for successful businesses. People know who you are. Even when you go there, you've never been there. They know who you are. How do you feel about the marketing aspect? It's been blowing up for you?
Yeah, but it's like, it goes back to what Ramon says. It's like you asked earlier about the politics and the current state of the situation. What we have to remember is that at the end of the day, what is at the core of all of this is humanity. Right, OG?
Yes.
And what people don't understand is that when me, Ramon, my partner Jay, and Omar, what we did was we used cannabis as a scalpel to cut through all the divisions that people have politically, religiously, and all these different things in society. Because as we know, in this polarized world, OG, there are very few things left that the majority of the population agrees on, and every day is fewer, because they only focus on the differences that we have. So we were able to use cannabis to bring all different walks of life together in community, to notice that at the end of the day, for all our differences, whether you're rich, poor, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, at the end of the day, OG, they would come to our events or come to our lounge. There was one thing that was unanimous, especially in the city. We are all stressed out and we all need a joint to relax.
That's
and
true, yes.
We were the sanctuary for that, and we were the ones that in this melting pot where there's the most diverse people in the world to show that. And that took on a life of its own because we were the incubator, the sanctuary that brought that together, and through their laws were passed, through their Main Street talked to Wall Street, the culture spoke to corporate, the politicians spoke to the legacy, etc. But it all started with us seeing the humanity in ourselves, that we all have this endocannabinoid system, we all agree with this plant, and then from there all these things morph. Like Ramon said, we saw that, we embraced that, and we said, you know what, we know we're on to something bigger than ourselves, and we're gonna push forward and break these ceilings and these doors for everybody else that's coming in the back. And I think that right now that the industry is heating up and it's going into more, you know, it feels like it's starting to shift from community to more business and etc. We need to get back to that more because, like I said, you know, this is one of the few things left in the world that people agree on, and we have to use that to bring us together, not to find reasons to divide us apart. And that's what me, Ramon, and my partners have always represented on the legacy side, on the event side, on the retail side, and that's what we'll keep on doing because we're stronger together. And whether we agree or disagree, it's better for us to be sitting having the dialogue than to be on different islands.
Definitely.
That does not help anyone because, like I said, it could always be worse, and there are always worse enemies that are way worse than the ones that are in the industry now. And we need to be in dialogue, having more community, having more dialogue to enhance and maximize this situation that we have that's good for what industry can you say really in 2025 benefits government, the people, the business owners, community? What's that?
I can't think of it. I can't. We're also highly competitive and on par with tech, oil, even defense. We can make that money.
So I think I'm sorry if I got too philosophical, too deep. I just feel like people need to understand the micro and the macro of where we are in this point in society, and you know the political climate, the what's going on in the world, and what an opportunity and how lucky we are to be a part of this era of time.
Man, you motherfuckers hit the lotto. Fuck, you motherfuckers hit the lotto. Telling you, me and some OGs were sitting the other day, said, motherfucker, if they just did this shit in the 90s, Elon wouldn't be here. Elon wouldn't be here. I'm telling all of you young bloods, you need to come together. You need to set up your lobby, protect your interests together. I totally follow you. I follow you with that all the way. It is about community, compassion, listening, understanding, just listening also to the other person. Sometimes we may think our ideology is right, but if you really open up a little bit more your mind, you tend to oh, okay, I can move a little left or a little right to work with that person, right? So to expound on what he said, do you have anything you want to
I guess I'll give advice to my other dispensary owners, right? To kind of add to bringing coaches or whatever they're doing and marketing to what you said as well. We're old school New Yorkers, real old school New Yorkers. We're block kids. We come from
4 generations.
So we come from community. We come from my bodega person knows my mom. We come from this. That type of vibe. We just went, me and OG, and we got a coffee down the block. They only take cash.
And forgot I only had
$5 on me. That actually, OG, the lady goes, "You bring it to me later."
Yeah.
That's the era we come from. That's
I've been to that bakery since my oldest was 26, was 3, 4, 5. So I know this whole area.
Right.
New York is my home. It's the first time I ever felt when we became legal. I found purpose.
Why you say that?
I never had any purpose before we became legal. I'm a pothead on par. Right. Every job I had required me to be straight. In the military, you couldn't smoke. Then tech, don't smoke. Everybody want to piss test, all this shit. I'm great at help desk, customer service, hospitality. You and I would fit real well with that, right? But I like getting high. So I always went to work smelling like weed. I don't care where I was at. But there was always the stigmatism, the bullshit. And I never really, everything that you're seeing right now in my life, I just was born last year. My team, Fannie Neal and Rachel Sanchez, Excel Social Pro, they turned my little lemonade stand into a full-fledged 2 businesses. Right. Now we're starting a 3rd.
Right.
So the team that you have, the people that you have, that's so important. And then the support you have from your community. So I understand y'all are having a 420. Tell me about it.
That's another one that, like Ramon said, I want to advise all my people in New York about, right? That New York has always been the culture capital of the world. We've always been the trendsetters. Yeah. So I want to remind people that we always have the most flavor, the most unique ideas, branding, hospitality here in New York. That's what we've always been known for, style.
We make struggle stylish.
So what I'm saying is that we need to all get back to, like, instead of following what others have done, to create new paths and go different directions. So why do I mention that when you mentioned 420? It would have been easy for us to go and do things we've done in the past, Path of Least Resistance, other venues we've used, and etc. down in the city. But we're choosing to do something that nobody's ever done before. All the cannabis events on 420 or large scale has always been south of 125th Street. Yeah. There's never been a large scale cannabis event, community event north of 125th. So that's what we're doing on 420. We got Funk Master Flex DJing, DJ CeeLo, DJ O'Dallas. We got Black Rose hosting, DJ Say Lagoon, DJ Steph Cakes. We're gonna have raffles, Easter egg hunts, activations, dab stations, rolling stations, because first step was to bring them the education and information, access to legal cannabis. We've done that. Now we need to bring them to this new culture and community that is existing now, to change the stigma and show people that the gatherings are different than alcohol gatherings and nightlife.
It's on Easter Sunday too.
Yeah, I mean, I want to add to that, right? So what happens is, right, New York City has been celebrating 420 for a very long time, especially in Manhattan, the downtown part of it, Washington Square Park, which I love. I love the Washington Square Park energy because you see New York in that energy, right? The reality is, in Manhattan, the war on drugs wasn't fought down there. No. It was fought up here. So who more than Washington Heights, Harlem, Inwood, Yonkers, Riverdale, the Bronx, who more than us to have the right to celebrate as well in our neighborhoods? Right. Especially up here on Dykeman, where in Manhattan, there's no more real true New York neighborhoods anymore. We're the last of the Mohicans up here. This is true New York, immigrant living people.
What did you call it earlier when we were in the bakery? You called it something on G, like you said, this is real neighborhood.
Oh my God. This is that New York is, to me, like I think many other multi-generational cities in their own way. And I wish I could remember. But New York is the realest of the real. So you're going to find everybody here. And we live together here. Yeah. There's like over almost 350 ethnic groups here.
100%.
So I'm going to remember that at 3 o'clock in the morning and text you. And then put it on the, But what excites me is seeing my people actually being able to get that generational wealth and take it multi-generational. I may not be here to see it, but it's there. Your children should be running this fucking thing, okay? That you should be teaching them, oh, fuck being a consumer, you're a business person now. Teach them how to do that now. They're gonna be gods, especially the females. The females.
We're both girl dads.
I'm a girl dad, right? Yeah, they don't fuck around. My youngest is making me look really bad when I was out. When I was 18, I was retarded. This child is already on her own. She's with a boyfriend. She's graduating from high school. She's going into college. And my other one is a little bit more laid back with my little man, but they're intelligent and they're able to survive. But y'all, I don't want to hear no excuses. I want to know 2 decades from now, I want to see both your daughters running these stores, you know, and the mothers are right there, or whoever's there, the support, the family support. What I find that we had that was lost when I was a child was the community. The older people watching the younger kids in the neighborhood while the parents went off to work. I was the last of that. I think I was the last kid who got his ass whipped by a stranger that went to go told their mom. You understand? So that was gone. We wouldn't dare want other people to touch our kids now, unless we really, really knew them. You know, we have to have this sense of, well, first off, there's great things about the city and bad things. You can either be a part of a great community with a lot of people, or you will stay by yourself and just be solitude for many, right? And then you miss out on the beauty of others. You two have the ability to bring people in that don't want to be around people, but want to see it and feel it, and on top of that, they feel safe. So as long as you offer a safe space, as long as you teach these young people what is expected of them, y'all two gonna be all right. The universe gonna give it to you. And take care of your children. Take care of your children. So 420, where's that gonna be?
It's gonna be right here on Dykeman, by the Dykeman Pier on the water.
On the water, okay. And you gonna be there, you cooking?
I'm gonna be cooking, I'm gonna be shucking and jiving, I'm gonna be doing all of the above that day, man.
And it starts at 2, so what time is it end?
2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh, I'm gonna make it! Because I gotta go all the way out to Queens.
It's all day event.
I gotta go all the way out to Queens, then hit Kaz, give him a big hug, down his little area, and then come up here, okay? And there's another dispensary too that I have to go to, I forgot.
And then like when you think about it, like we were reverse engineering what me and Ramon did already and our other partners. What we did before was we had this lounge downtown where we brought the culture from uptown, the Bronx, all the places you mentioned down there to meet, you know, the people from down there, middle class, elites, or whatever. Now we're reverse engineering that, like Ramon said, in our community. Now we get to bring out the people that are from here, plus the following that we have from down there, and we mix these two worlds together, and now they learn about our community, this geography, all the amazing cultural stuff happening up here. So it's like you said, it's like we keep this ball of energy that the cannabis community has helped us build. We just keep building on top of it because we're not going the easy route. We're continuing to go where we feel like nobody's gone before, because that's the whole point of this, for us to keep inspiring and pushing this forward to more people and keep destigmatizing and keep passing the energy along to inspire others to do the same as us or more.
I think by the time my grandson and your daughters, how old is your daughter?
10.
10, so you got 7.
Yeah.
Y'all only got 1 each?
Yes.
No, you deal with 2 of them. Y'all getting off easy. So, but like my daughter, your daughters and my grandson are the same generation. So I'm hoping that they're gonna be really on point. I could tell between the both of you, y'all are gonna play, because that's your bloodline, and you're gonna teach them really. So that's gonna be amazing. And I have a feeling too, majority of the dispensary owners are gonna be run by women anyway.
It's gonna be interesting for both of them. You know why? Because when Zuri and Madison are of age, it's going to be the era when there were people born when cannabis was legal and they didn't know what it was before.
That's
That's going to be like a whole new chapter.
It's going to be like, so what was it like back in 1986, Daddy?
Right.
You were a slave back then.
Right.
What the fuck are you talking about? Well, I got to tell you, y'all, I had a great time. And this is only continuing conversations. You know, I'm always coming back to talk with my guests, Vladimir Bautista and Ramon Reyes, two great fathers, two great entrepreneurs, two great Latin brothers. When did y'all meet?
So the years between high school and like our 20s was when we kind of like became friends.
Yeah.
We went to the same junior high school. We went to the same high school. We just had mutual friends, and we didn't necessarily hang out every day together. Right? We weren't there yet, right? But then once we were in our 20s and our late 20s, that's when we kind of
y'all smoked this one fire one time, right? Smoked a great fucking blunt one day, and everything. I love you, man.
Once again, like that's what brings everybody together. Like
always.
When we all smoked. We were all in the legacy market together.
Yeah. I
had a weed establishment.
Yeah.
He would come it's just like I said, cannabis through the whole journey has been the scalpel that 100%. Has kept unifying us and cutting through so many different things. And to not be cliche, but it's really true. I really believe I wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for cannabis, because from that era when Ramon said to now, started with 100 friends, I'm one of maybe 10 that's left is not there in jail because they didn't take the cannabis route, they took other routes. There wasn't many options.
I was voted the most nicest drug dealer in 2 different cities. I loved selling weed. I loved it. I was happy. And when I look back on it, I was happiest. I made sure my clients were happy. And it was the only time I really would make sure I got good anything. I'd go buy a pair of underwear in a package that had a hole in it. I wouldn't give a fuck. But when it came to weed, no. And then all my connects were amazing. I had connects in Washington Heights, Yankee Stadium, Astoria. I bought from Turbo's people many years ago. I know I bought from the Carter Brothers. Jeremy.
Shout Kaz and Congo.
Yeah. Sohan, Bashar, Kaz Marte at Ikamba, the Carter Brothers at Trends. We'll be
Polanco Brothers.
Polanco Brothers. I only met them once. I want to hang out with them and talk with them.
That's what it is. I think they've also been surprised. I want to mention this. They expected us to be more crabs in a bucket when it came to all the dispensaries owners. And I think New York has shown a real level of unity amongst, especially the legacy, the legal folks that ended up being
that's class, man. Y'all are gonna come together. I actually think the New York cannabis market lobby is gonna be a very strong lobby group. They'll just come together. Get them right lawyers. Jeffrey Hoffman loved to nibble at them fucking ankles.
Yes, he does.
Okay?
Yes, he does.
So, but I do want to say again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. It is probably one of the very special interviews that I want to have continuing conversations with the 2 brothers. Ramon, give your daughter a big kiss for me.
Absolutely.
Tell her, Uncle Pop, it's good. You too. I want to tell you both, every time I look at you and see what you do, I feel like a proud father, or proud
we look related, right? We got the
look related though.
Head beard.
That's so weird,
we got the thing going on.
And it took me 6 months to know which one was which. It's like twins. No, because I called him Ramon at Nike once, called you Vlad, and I fucking on the Rebel or some shit, and I can't get it right, but now I know better. But I do want to say to everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. The show is sponsored by Produce 420. Thank you, Don and David, Michael Fertucci, Green Spectrum. Also want to thank Gordon Weinstein, our new sponsor from Gordy's Goodies, Mimi Souvenir, and Harry. God bless you. New York City Cannabis Exchange. Yes, we're working on your commercial, getting that Memorial Day commercial together, And I just want to thank everyone who, if I haven't mentioned, You know how I feel about what's going on in our community. You know I love the people that I talk to, and I'm so proud of the young people that are about to kick ass over the next decade or so. You know I love you all. Again, thank you so much for joining us on the OG Social Network podcast. Please remember, guys, don't stress. If shit hits the fan, just sit back and smell it. And you'll clean it up later. Okay? Remember to just, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say, you're too blessed to be stressed. Things will get greater later. You just got to always choose happy.
Oh, God, I love these guys. I swear to God. I always tell people, right? If we were back in like 3000 AD, right? And I got 2 daughters, and I ran into like good young men like y'all. Well, I told them y'all have been sold to like 5 or 6 different husbands by now. I had so much land and goats. Anyway, God bless you all so much. Remember to please relax, relate, and release. I love you all. God bless. That's it. That's it.